Hey folks, Craig Ripley here for Living Off the Slab, and today I'm going to talk to you about a request that I had from one of my YouTube subscribers. This gentleman wanted to get into doing some motorcycle trips, so he wondered how I went about picking the jacket that I used on my trips. So I decided, that's a pretty good idea, but let's go ahead and expand it a little bit and to cover clothing that you might want to take on your motorcycle trip. So I think there are three basic things that you need to take into consideration when choosing your clothing. One, protection. You want to be protected in case you have an accident, but also you want to be protected from the elements, that is wind, rain, and the sun. The third thing is comfort. It's not going to be very fun if you're not comfortable on the bike. You're going to want to get off the bike, you want to go into places and see things, so you got to wear something that is going to allow you to do that, to be comfortable and enjoy your trip. Now, we'll talk about protection from the sun and protection from the road a little bit later, but right now I want to talk about comfort. The biggest thing that I think you need to take into consideration to be comfortable on the bike is your underlayer. That is, the layer of clothing that's sitting directly on your skin. So that includes not only your t-shirt to cover your chest and your torso, but also your underwear and your socks. One thing I found while going out and doing these tours and riding through all kinds of different weather, particularly hot weather, because I take most of my trips in the summer, is that you do not want to wear cotton clothing for your underwear, your socks, or your shirts. Right? Cotton absorbs water, it gets heavy, it lets water hang in around your body, and I've had instances where I've had some unpleasant reactions to that extra moisture, in places where you don't want it. I won't get into any details, but you guys know what I mean. So you want to pick something that is going to allow water to wick away from your body and to be evaporated, so that it cools you off but also keeps you dry. Alright, so the first thing we'll talk about is your underwear. Right? Whether you're a guy or a girl, it's very important to stay dry down in your crotch, especially while you're riding a motorcycle sitting on that saddle. There can be some unpleasant consequences to not doing that, like monkey butt and so forth. If you don't know what that is, look it up. But anyway, I've gone to using something like the Under Armour nylon rayon short here, and that allows water, sweat to be wicked away from the body and then to evaporate more easily and to keep you dry. They're a little pricey, about $20 a pair, but you can find some sales sometimes, and also you can probably find some alternative brands and so forth that might be a little less expensive. But for me, I've gone with the Under Armour. I find that they work very well and they're very well made. Alright, so the second area we need to worry about is our feet. And again, just like down in the crotch, you don't want the feet to get wet. You want the moisture to be able to wick away from it and evaporate. And to do that, basically, I've gone again with an Under Armour sock. This happens to be an Under Armour baseball socks. You can go down to any sporting goods store and pick those up. I think these run $7 or $8 a pair. Not very expensive. They work really well, and like I said, keep the water away from your toes. So another option for you is to buy a motorcycle specific sock. This particular one is made by Rev-IT. It's made for like adventure touring guys, and notice that it's high, it goes all the way up to knee. I recommend that as well, whether you're going with something like the Under Armour sock or you go with this Rev-IT sock. You want something that goes all the way up to your knee. And reason for that, one, extra protection against the heat from your engine, but also it is not going to fall down during the day and bunch up down in your boot. And again, for me, I really hate that, so I always wear the long socks to keep that from happening. Now this Rev-IT sock is a little bit thicker than the Under Armour sock, so if you're going to get a thick sock like this, then you definitely need to make sure that it fits in your shoe, because that'll take up some extra room. Alright, the last piece of undergarment that you want to think about is some kind of a t-shirt. Whether you're going to wear this underneath a shirt like this, or whether you're just wearing it directly underneath your jacket, which is what I do on most of my tours, you want, again, a nylon rayon kind of material that wicks moisture away from your body and allows it to evaporate. It's particularly important on your torso here. So again, what I've gone with is Under Armour. Again, I'm not pushing this brand, just happens to be what I like. There's all kinds of things out there that'll do the same thing for lower price points. But I like the Under Armour things. But again, a nylon rayon material, nice and light. It bunches up real tight, so you can just pack that away in your stuff sacks. Doesn't take up a lot of room, and it helps to keep you nice and cool on your trip. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is your footwear. There's all kinds of choices out there, from boots like this to specific motorcycle related foot attire, but you just have to find what's comfortable for you. That's the main thing. And if I can give you any one piece of advice, make sure that it's waterproof. You don't want to get caught in a rainstorm and have your feet get soaked. It's not good. As I said, there are many choices when it comes to footwear. The main thing is you want to find something that you're going to be comfortable in and it's going to keep you dry. So for my wife, she's ended up with something like this. This is a Tourmaster cycling boot, and it's waterproof, and it has a flat bottom on it, which she really likes. That makes her a lot more comfortable both on the bike, and it gives her the ability to walk more easily when we get off the bike. So this is what she really likes. On the other hand, I'm a fan of boots. I particularly like Western style boots, something like this. This is an Ariat Ironside waterproof work boot. It has about 1.5 inch heel on the bottom to give me a little bit more height when I'm carrying my wife and an extra load on the bike. It also has a nice oil-resistant skid-proof sole that really helps, and it's nice and soft. And what I did was I got this in an oil finish, and that enables me to take some mink oil, and about once or twice a month I'll just rub the mink oil on it, and it keeps the finish nice and durable and looking good, and gets rid of any scuffs and things that might happen from your shifters. Alright, so that brings us now to riding pants. How do you choose a pant to ride with? Well, as I said, one, you have to be comfortable. You're going to want to get off the bike. You're going to want to walk around, have a good time. So you can't be in something that you're just going to be so hot and so miserable in that you're not going to want to stop. Secondly, you do have to have some protection just in case anything bad does happen. You also want to protect yourself from the heat of the engine and from the heat of the sun or any other adverse weather conditions you might run into. Now, you guys have probably seen me talk about these jeans before. These are the Diamond Gusset Defender motorcycle jeans. They are Kevlar lined in the rear end and in the hips and in the knees, just in case you go down. They're also made of a pretty durable heavyweight denim. And one thing I do like about them is they are complete 100% down to the rivet and stitch US made product. So again, for me, that's a big plus. I'm willing to pay a little bit more money for them than I am for some of the other Kevlar jeans. Now, a couple of things that I really like about these jeans is, one, they have a 5th pocket right up here. You can put a cell phone in. Right? They of course have the patented diamond gusset in the crotch that gives you more room down there. And they also have a Velcro closure at the ankle that keeps your pants from blowing up as you're going down the highway. Now, if you want more of a specific motorcycle pant, well, there's tons of them out there. The ones that I have here are a Rev-IT brand, and basically this is the mix of leather and mesh, so it allows air to come through to help keep you cool. Again, because I'm doing most of my touring during the summer months, I do have some other specific pants, you know, for winter, some overpants and those kinds of things when I'm riding up here. But for my touring pants, I'm looking for something primarily that's going to keep me cool. So these, as I said, are leather and mesh. They have padding in the knees and some extra padding around the hips and the rear end here. They also have, as you're going to want on all of your motorcycle pants, a zipper opening to help you get in and out of them more easily. There's tons of models out there. Basically just go on and find one that is going to work for you. Okay, so that brings us to what my subscriber originally asked about, and that is touring jackets. How do you go about picking a jacket that is going to be right for you for touring? Well, as I said before, there are many different kinds of jackets out there covering every kind of motorcycle genre that you can think of. You're basically going to have to go out and see what's available at your local dealers. You're going to have to look at some of the online stores and find something that is right for you, that's going to do the job best for you, and be in the price point that you can afford. right? Because some of the jackets are pretty expensive. Like the Climb jackets are really nice, but they get very up there in the pricing. Arrow Stitch as well is another very good clothing line for motorcycling, but they can get pretty pricey for some people. Just depends upon what you're able to afford and what you're looking for. So for me, what I wanted to do is I'm going to get out basically on the road. I'm going to do some slab riding, I'm going to do some back roads. We're going to stop every 100, 150 miles, you know, see the sights and those kinds of things. So I want something that, again, is going to do a lot of things for me for, you know, a reasonable price. I'm not opposed to spending the money on something, but it has to be able to do all of those jobs well. So what I've ended up getting was a Tourmaster Intake 3 jacket. Again, I'm not pushing this particular brand, it just happens to be what I use right now. And the main reason that I really like this jacket is because it is full mesh jacket and it allows air to just blow right through it. So while, like any jacket, it can get a little hot while you're just standing there, right? While you're riding, air is flowing right through it. If you couple that with that Under Armour that I was talking about, the moisture wicks out to the surface of your skin and then gets evaporated more easily as air is flowing across. Even though it is a mesh jacket, also it helps block some of the sunlight, so you're not going to get burned. Right? It's really important that, especially when you're out in really hot temperatures, not to ride around without a jacket on, with your skin exposed. If your skin gets burned, that's bad news, especially if you've got another week to go on the road and now you're riding around with a sunburn, right? And you also can get heat stroke that way. So keep your skin covered, keep it protected. Get a jacket that allows airflow through it so that you can be comfortable. Now, even though the jacket allows airflow through it, there are going to be times, as we ran into when we were in Nova Scotia, when you're going to need a lining. Right, you're going to need a wind lining, you're going to need an insulated lining. So that's one thing about most of these jackets. If you look for a 3 or a 4 season jacket, you're going to find things that come with multiple linings. Right, they'll come with a wind lining or rain lining. This is 100% rain waterproof, as well as it blocks the wind. So that would be your first lining that you would put in. Second lining is an insulated lining, a little quilted lining that'll help keep you warm. I've been able to wear this pretty comfortably well down into the 40s and even on some 30-degree days. As long as I keep something else around my neck, it keeps me pretty warm. If I'm riding up here for too long in that kind of weather, then I have another heavy-duty jacket that does the job for me. But for most situations, this one jacket will cover everything from, say, about 40 degrees on up to 90, 100 degrees, just by changing these 3 liners, or these 2 liners in the jacket. So the strength of having this kind of jacket is that it has the multiple liners that can cover multiple circumstances as the weather changes. One of the drawbacks to having this kind of jacket is it has multiple liners that can cover multiple situations. It gets to be kind of a pain in the rear to swap these things in and out all of the time. What we usually do is we keep the wind liners separate and we'll put them on in the morning without buttoning them and snapping them into the jacket, and we'll ride with those for a while until it warms up, and then we'll take them out and put them back in our pack and then just ride with the jacket. That seems to work the best for most situations. There are those situations when you know that it's going to be cold all day long, and so then you can put in the quilted liner, make sure it's zipped in properly, make sure all the snaps are in place, and then put it into the jacket. But again, that's if you know that it's going to be consistent over the day. If it's not, then we usually just throw them on and use them separately. So I've had the Tourmaster jacket for quite a number of years now. And as I just mentioned, it kind of can be a little bit of a pain in the rear to swap things in and out. So what I've actually gone to do is I went out and I bought myself a new Thermax jacket liner from Climb. Again, a little expensive, costs about $100. You can get something like this up at Eastern Mountain Sports or probably at Cabela's or any of the big sporting good chains. But it's really nice, lightweight, and help keep you warm without having to worry about zipping that quilted lining in and out. So now what I do is I often use the wind liner from the jacket, and I'll put it on over this if I really need to stay warm. Alright, so that's about it. That's the kind of clothing that we ride with every time we go out touring. The jackets, as I said, with all of the clothing, you just need to go out and look at things and find what's right for you. There are plenty of places out there to buy them. Go online and do some Googling, and you'll find all kinds of places out there to look. Find something, again, that works for your price point, that's going to do the job for you, and that's in the kind of genre that you're looking for when you go riding. Now, the one thing I did not cover was rain gear, and to me that's a given. Wherever you go, you want to take some good rain gear with you, and when I say good rain gear, spend the money to get the gear. It's well worth it. So that's about it. That covers the clothing that you want to take with you when you're out on the road. Now, above all, no matter what kind of jacket, no matter what kind of bike you ride, I want everybody to please go out there and be safe.